Jen Healy, a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm assuming that there must have been, well, f- growing up, uh, some form of lack of money.
Yeah, so I'm a single parent. My daughter is 16 now, and from the day she's born, it's just been me and her. And there was a time when we were fighting homelessness. There was a time where I had to live we have a charity down here in Ireland in the south called it's gone out of my head. The Vincent de Paul, sorry, St. Vincent de Paul. And they give out food vouchers and food stamps. And we lived off them for 2 years because I didn't have anything. Like we had nothing. It was just me and her. And it was around the time where the government had cut like huge uh financial cuts across like rent allowance and social welfare. So we were in the red every month. And also it was at a time where I had really bad postnatal depression. I was trying to come away from addiction issues. I had a serious trauma, so I was like barely keeping my head above board. So to have that little bit of help for 2 years, like kept me mentally and financially able to just keep the roof over our head for that time.
I'd like to dig in a little deeper than that. So, before you had your kid, you talked about addiction, and
Mm.
I'm assuming as well the money challenges that you had, they were long existing before you had your kid.
Yeah, like when you grow up, I grew up in a disadvantaged area. My dad always worked, but we were always okay, but there was always a lack mentality in the house. And just living a reckless life. You were always paying one to pay the other. Especially when it comes to drug and alcohol abuse, you're just in this vicious cycle. You're chasing your tail. You're dodging this person to pay that person, and everything that goes with it. And then when I started to go to education and started to like try and give us a better life, then I had to go to college and work at the same time. And I think I had two or three jobs at one time, just trying to get us through. I wasn't entitled to any, not that I should be entitled, but I didn't meet a criteria to get like financial aid for like your colleges and stuff. So I had to get everything up myself, which now looking back, it's a good thing. It taught me how to use my brain. It taught me how to look for solutions rather than staying in the problem. But when you're in it, you're in it. Like
Like, I'm always curious to hear people's stories too, and I wouldn't say that I was an addict, but like I had definitely in my 20s. I drank a lot. I did a lot of cocaine.
mm,
Just because I was struggling with my own challenges and my own problems. And they were like they were just, it was a distraction. Now I had a business and things were going good for me, so I could afford that lifestyle of spending fucking quite a lot of money on drugs. Um, but it was a dark place for me. It was a dark time as well. But I couldn't see out of it. And it was probably, when I look back now, it was probably one of the hardest times that I had to transcend, because it was
mm,
like I didn't know how to get myself out of that. And
yeah,
I had to go and take myself to help, and I didn't realize until I started helping myself then that was actually what was going to take me out of it. But I didn't know that, until I got out
yeah.
of it. So the reason I'm sharing that with you is like, what was it that took you out of the addiction that you had at that time, that was able to bring you to where you are today?
Yeah, and it was Friday the 13th. I always remember the date. It was People say Friday the 13th is a bad, like an unlucky. It was the best day of my life. It was June, Friday the 13th, and the doctor told me that I was pregnant. And at the time, I had nothing. I had zero relationship with my family. I was just reckless. But
When you
when
say reckless, like what
yeah,
does reckless mean?
I just didn't have any respect for myself. I lived a quite volatile life. Like when I went missing, I'd be gone for days.
And where
I
were you gone? Like,
like partying, like off doing stuff like that. All of my friends were like, it was a lot of criminality, gangland stuff around me. And it was so normal, so normal to be in it. It was never afraid. Like, it was just a reality that I was so used to. I grew up in it. But when the doctor said to me, uh, how would you feel if you're pregnant? And I was like, I never even thought of that. And I was like, oh my God, I am I? And it was the first, up until that day, I always say, up until that day, I had never felt um, joy in my life. I'd never felt any like a love and feeling. I was so far removed from it internally. I was just so, my heart was so broken that I remember just leaving the doctors that day, and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to get us out of this mess. I've no clue, but I'm going to change this. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I finally felt like I have something that nobody can take off of me. If that it was a bizarre feeling. It was like, oh my God, I have something that's mine. It was probably the first purpose that I had to live. Because up until that day, from the day I was 2 years of age till 26, 25, when I found out I was pregnant, I never had a purpose and I never wanted to be here. I was always very aware that this is not my home. This is not the world for me. So that had a huge impact on my mindset. It shifted big time that day.
okay, so the pregnancy, knowing that you're going to bring a baby into the world.
And the fear of her, the fear of the baby experiencing what I was experiencing, that was enough for me. That was like a catalyst. Like I couldn't do that to somebody else.
Hmm. It's strange. Like, well, I say strange. It's interesting how we can, like, it took for you to now that you know, and that the responsibility of bringing a child in and that love that you wanted to give to your kid, but before that, you weren't able to give yourself that love.
I had no, never heard of the concept of self love. Had no understanding. It would be like a foreign language to me. No, nobody spoke about it. Nobody taught it. It was just survival. I was just in survival mode, and whatever I could do to get away from myself, I would just do it.
Yeah. How many years ago was that?
Oh, you put me on the spot. She's 16 now.
Wow.
Mm.
And life's
It's
been
been
good
it's been
since.
it's it's been up and down, but I'd say the last few years have been our best. Yeah.
What was the shift in money for you, in the sense of, was there a moment in your life where you realized that, actually, I can change the way that I'm living right now to a new way of life and start bringing in money?
Yes, yes, there was. It was a huge lesson that I learned in 2024. Actually, I spent the whole of last year really trying to understand what was happening in my life. For the previous year, 2023, I'd been studying with Kim Calvert. I don't know if you've heard of Kim. She's one of Bob Proctor's consultant up in Northern Ireland. So I'd been studying away, and I've always been fascinated with personal development. And when I started to work with Kim, this amazing opportunity came into my life to open my own business. And I was like, yes, this is going to be an incredible opportunity for me and my daughter. This is going to be a financially like set us up for life. You know, I'm a single parent, and it's always just been me. All the bills, everything is on my shoulders, which can be a lot sometimes. But as I was studying and listening to Bob, he was talking about cybernetics. And I hope I said that right. And basically, everybody has a thermostat, a wealth frequency, and it's controlled by your paradigms, basically. And as I started to study last year, something happened in my life where I should be really financially okay now. Like, I'm doing everything I'm being told to do. I'm writing me lists. I'm taking aligned action. This should be a really abundant time in my life. And I come home from the gym one day and the electricity was gone. I had no way to have a shower. Like, those couple of months just seemed to be like bank emptied, problem after problem. Like, it was just going through me like water. And it really rocked me, because it was like, I'm teaching this material and it's not working. Something's gone wrong. And as a single parent, not being able to, like, financially support my daughter with, if she wanted to go on like little trips or with her pals, it was like I just didn't have it. And it brought me right back to when she was first born, and the shame that goes hand in hand with being a new parent and struggling financially. So I was like, I need to something. I knew the universe was trying to teach me something, so I was like, I need to figure this out. But nobody around me was discussing it, or no one could understand what I was asking for help with. So then the universe always hears, always hears. And just one day, a random girl that I study with, we don't really have contact. She just sent me a podcast one day. It was just out of the blue. And I pressed it and it said money energetics. And I was like, I just pressed it and I listened to it. And like less than 2 minutes into the podcast, I was like, when you have that aha moment, I was like, this is what's happening. This is what's happening. And I text the girl and I was like, how did you know? And she goes, Jen, I don't know. You came into my head, so I just shared it with you. And that was it. I was just off on this deep dive trying to understand money energetics. And I had been set at a thermostat of lack. I've always been afraid of money. So when money comes in, my nervous system doesn't know how to hold it. It goes back out straight away. And then when it goes back out, I'm afraid it'll never come back in. So I'm always chasing my tail. I'm always in this vibration of lack and fear. And as I started to learn and I was listening, the more that the money was just going out and there was nothing in my bank. I come out of the gym one day and I had to get a new car, which I only got a car. The engine went in it. I had to pay thousands of pounds more. And I was like this is not supposed to be the way. And I come out of the gym and there was like a 6-inch nail in my brand new tires, and that was €160. And this was just hitting me like a wave until the penny dropped. And it was like, I'm never going to get out of this financial mess that I'm in. And what I'm building towards is never going to be successful if I don't figure this out. So I had to learn to be vibrationally so happy, so abundant, so magnetic when there was nothing in the bank, as the same as when the bank is full, if that makes sense. I never knew this. I was never taught it. I didn't understand it. And then when I started to piece it together, so my business should have been, not that it should have been, I had all plans that it was going to open last year. And I was like, why is this setback after setback? And then I knew I can't go into something new with this old energy still in me, because if my thermostat is set at a specific, say 2,000-3,000 a month, anytime I earn over 2,000 or 3,000 a month, the universe will give me things that I have to immediately spend it on. And anytime I earn under 2,000 or 3,000, the universe, it's like a signal. It'll give me a little lump sum to bring it back up. So I knew I was off. And I've spent the last year really, really working hard and practicing, learning how. So like, if I want to earn 50,000 a month, say, I need to be okay with 50,000, and I need to be really, really good when I have to pay out 50,000. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I didn't know how to be okay with everything and with nothing at the same time. So then I started to have fun with it, and I was just like, I'm so happy that this bill is after coming in. I'm so happy that I'm in a place to pay this, even though I didn't feel it, even though I didn't want to pay it. I had to really train myself and my mind and catch the minute that my energy started to contract and to panic. I had to open it straight away. And I've just been really, really trying to understand it and teach it and study it the last year. It's really interesting to me.
So bringing your child in and raising is a big shift in you, and then starting to, I heard you talk about 50,000 a month. Is that right?
Yeah, I would
Wow.
like to earn that soon.
Okay. So
It's
you're on the road to earning that.
yeah, that's the goal. Yeah, I can. It's there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's there, right? So what does it's there mean? Like, how can you describe that?
Well, I'm just about to open up my first business, my first physical premise business, and the returns that I've done in my business plan, I can see how that's going to come back in. And it doesn't scare me. It actually feels like I'm probably playing it safe. Like I will want to go bigger with that.
Because they
But
talk about,
if you'd asked me 2 years ago, I would never be able to say that out loud. I wouldn't even. That number wouldn't even come into my head. I never even thought that was possible. But working with Kim, like she has brought that out of me. I actually have. Sorry, I have it wrote down. I carry these everywhere. We have to put our financial goal and our professional goal cards down, and you bring them everywhere with you. So every time I see that number, because I've seen that so much, my subconscious is so used to that, it doesn't scare me. So when that does come into my life energetically, my nervous system is going to be able to hold it. And then the universe will be like, oh, she's after doing the work, she's very comfortable with this, let's see, can we expand it? But if I hadn't have done that work last year, this would be able to come into my life, but it would go out just as quick. And I was very aware of that, starting a new business, that was my intention for this year, was to really work on my financial thermostat, it's called.
so what is the financial thermostat?
So everybody has one. You just have to look at how much you make a month, and it'll show you your financial. Like a lot of people, they work in a job, and no matter what they do or how many hours extra they do, it's like, I don't know where my money goes. Like if someone could be earning like on a really good wage, and you're like, what do you do with your money? And they're like, I don't know. It just goes in one hand and out the other. That's my experience. That's my story. Somebody might win the lotto, and they get lucky. They win the lotto, and you'll meet them in a couple of years, and it's gone. The financial, whatever your financial thermostat is at, it will always bring it back to the number, the figure that your subconscious has locked in on.
So is it like we have set, would it be like we set a limit on ourselves that what
Yes,
we're capable? Okay. So
yeah.
this is what I'm hearing. It feels like you had set a limit on yourself in the past, and now you're raising that limit to what you can earn.
Yeah, and I noticed over the year or two, I really noticed that when money comes in to my life, I recklessly spend it so quick. I don't know how to hold it. And I'm only saying I don't know just in terms of explaining it to you, because I don't want to put that out into the universe. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I'm like, I understand it now. Money will come into my life, and I'm like a magpie, and I'm like, oh, I'll buy this and I'll buy that and I'll buy this. It's like it's like a reflex, and I never understood it, but now I see it so clearly. And now I'm starting to work with somebody like a wealth manager, and they're teaching me now how to first look at what's coming in, put it into different places, into different categories, so that my nervous system is used to it and I can see where everything is. And then that makes me really more comfortable with it. And what will happen is your wealth frequency, when more starts to come in, you won't only be able to keep it, it'll start to multiply. It's energy.
Yeah, so a lot of people would be like, okay, well, I'm just going to start thinking that I'm going to be earning 100 grand a month. And then they just
Yeah,
expect that to happen. Is that how it
yeah.
works?
No, that's the kind of online manifestation thing that's out there. If you want to earn 100,000 a month, you have to give 100,000 worth of service. But
Mm.
you can earn money from multiple sources of income. That's no problem. It's very easy to, when you put your brain to work and you make a decision, okay, this is what I want to earn, this is the skill set that I have. And when you set that goal and you start working towards it, people and places and opportunities will naturally start to come into your life. New streams of income will start to develop. So the money can come in, but it's learning the money energetics, that when it comes in, do you know how to keep it, instead of money will come in and be like, oh my God, I need to buy this new car. I need to upgrade. I need to do this. I need to do that. We recklessly just start spending straight away. So we're just constantly chasing our tail.
So if I was in a job right now and just working 9 to 5 on the minimum wage and I wanted to
Yeah.
start building my wealth, what would the
Mm.
first step that I would need to take if I believe that I can start earning more? You know, that's believing's one thing, but then making it happen is another.
Yeah. So if you're, and I work with girls with this all the time. I've got like 50 women that I have an online community, and I work with them all the time with this. It's first of all, you have to find your financial goal. What is it? And become very comfortable with it, with saying it. So it's like, okay, I want to earn money, but what do you really want to earn? And then it's like, okay, what are you doing to bring it in? Where can we add more streams of income in? And if you're in a 9 to 5, is that where you want to be? Are you living your purpose? Because the thing is, a lot of people are, what would you say, maybe settling. They're in these jobs and they're earning, but they're working for other people, and it's not really what they want to be doing. And it's very hard to come into alignment with the frequency of abundance when you're not in alignment with what it is you're here on earth to do. We all have a soul purpose. And when you're not living your purpose, like, are you really connecting to all that the universe has to bring you? So what I do is I actually work with people to bring out their purpose, and we kind of work on, I don't know if are you familiar with Bob Proctor?
I know who Bob Proctor is. Yeah.
Yeah. So Bob talks about the three goals: your A, your B, your C type goal. So your A type goal, just for anyone that's listening, you probably know. So your A type goal is something that you already know how to do inside and out. So if you were to say to me, Jen, okay, I want you to set up a yoga class. Okay, I know how to do that. I can do that inside out. That's I'm not going to grow from that. If you said to me, Jen, I want you to go and set up a yoga studio, I'd be like, yeah, okay, I have a fair idea how to do it. I just need this or that or this or that to, to kind of bring it together. But a C type goal is, it's the one that you really want. You've no clue how you're going to do it. You don't know where the money's going to come from. But that's the one that sets your heart, your soul on fire when you think about it, and it actually frightens the life out of you. That's where you need to be walking towards. Because when you start to align yourself with your soul purpose, all the people, the opportunities, the money that you need, it will all start to find you. And that would be my advice. And
Mm.
then work with somebody who understands, like a wealth manager or somebody like that also. That's what I'm doing at the minute.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You also talk about the nervous system and like just a lack of. So it sounds like, it's important that we really understand our feelings first, or the way that our body is reacting to money. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, so one of the things that I like to do with people is get them to go through all of the beliefs that they have around money. Like, money is the root of all evil. We've all heard that. We've probably all
Is that
thought it.
true?
No, I don't think it is.
No, me
Um,
neither.
yeah, and bad people do bad things with money. Yes, and good people do good things. And I'm a good person, and you're a good person. So let's make loads of money. Let's do really good things with it, and let's bring good energy and good frequency, and try and counteract what if there's a small minority of people in the world that hold all of the wealth. Imagine if this is how my brain thinks. This is like what kind of lights me up. The more people that I can help become entrepreneurs, that's more people stepping out into the energetic world, the money space, that are doing more with money, more good energy going into it. Can we shift the balance? Probably can't do it on my own, but I'll give it a good bash.
So you're now on. You said you've a group of like 50 ladies, and you're coaching them as a group or one on one.
I do group coaching. We started in August online. I'm going to finish up now in May for the summer, and then I'll start back in September. And we've just had incredible results. Like, she actually won't mind me share this, because I asked her, could I talk about this online? Like, I have a client who, she got admitted into the psychiatric hospital here in Dublin 2 months ago, and she went missing. She was quiet online, and I was like, where has she gone? I do notice when they're not there. And I eventually reached her, and she told me, she's like, I've been admitted to the hospital again. I'm not great. And I said to her, like, she says, Jen, what the doctors get me to do, what I do with you helps me more. And I've worked in mental health for 12, 13 years. I've worked with all the top doctor teams in Dublin. So I know that the doctors, they come first. And I said to her, do what the doctor's plan is, and let's just do a little bit together. Really simple. And I said to her, would you come on the call tonight? I said, no pressure. You can leave your camera off. The girls, we'll support you 100%. And that night at 8 o'clock, when I came on to do me coaching, she came on the call from a hospital ward. And I just thought, wow, like, I don't know if I would be brave enough to come onto a call of 50 women who are all sharing about their wins, how their life is amazing, how everything's going well, and I'm sitting in a psychiatric hospital. I don't know if I'd have that courage, but this girl did. And then a few weeks ago, she come back onto the call. She's at home, and she's now found her purpose. She's lit up, like, she is absolutely on fire at the minute. She's flying. That's the kind of stuff that really, really makes me happy as a coach.
And when you talk about like she's on fire, like
Mm.
what is she at now, or what was she doing versus what she's doing now?
She is now starting to. I don't want to give her obviously, like, her private stuff away, but she's found something that she's really, really interested in, and she's starting to do it. And she now sees where she can go. She always wanted to work for herself. She didn't know how to bring it all together, and now she's like, I know what it is, what I'm going to do. Like, if this feels so right and so good, and just that, and that's what I say, when somebody's on fire, they're connected to their purpose. You can't not but be energized from them. So when
Hmm.
she came onto the call, all of us were like, yes, go, go. Like, this is it. This is your time. And she's just blooming, she's absolutely just smashing it.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people would say, "Oh, sure, isn't it great to have money?" Or, um,
Mm,
or money's hard to come by. Uh,
yeah.
why is it that people say that, and can that be changed?
Yeah, we change that all the time. I work on it myself all the time. The last few weeks, I've had loads of bills again, gone out. I'm off to Africa. My daughter's 16. She had one of those, like a TY ball. She's off on a trip to school. So it's just, a lot has gone out. And I was like, do you know what? I started to just do my little affirmations again. So now I'm in the morning, and I'm like, money just flows into my life. Money just comes easily. I just bring myself back into that vibration. And then two people have sent me money today that I didn't even know was coming in. So it's like when you come into that, it's all about being in the receptive mode. And they might be just little small sums, but that's just like, okay, there it is. I see it. Like, we have been conditioned from the time that we're children to hear all of this stuff. And you have to remember, like, our parents, I don't know, like, especially down south, the church had a big hold on Ireland and our parents and our grandparents. And, you know, back in the day, if you sinned in the village, how you overcame that sin is you had to give your money away. You had to give anything valuable to the church. So that showed that almost having money was like a shame. And to get rid of the shame is to get rid of the money and to get rid of your valuables. And it's there's so much to it. From the time you're 0 to 7, the first 7 years, your brain is in a state of hypnosis. So for the first 7 years, everything that you hear, you see, you feel, that is just going straight into your subconscious. And that's like your foundation. That's the lens that you look out for the rest of your life. Till you get to our age, we have to start undoing it.
Yeah, and I suppose it's not easy for everyone, because with that
No.
comes change. You shared your story, and it sounds like you're a completely different person to who you were.
Yeah. Well, hopefully.
But I mean, not everyone is willing to make that change, or there's a lot of fear that holds them back.
Yeah.
Is that something that you work with, or do you experience?
Yeah, well, I experience it all the time myself, but I have the awareness and the tools to walk through it. And the way I work with people, it's so gentle, it's so easy that I always start off with just balancing out the nervous system. So some people probably assume that you have to go from like 0 to 1,000 in like straight away, and it's too much. I just get people to learn I just teach them about balance, about the nervous system, teach them about fear. I love energy work, and so when you operate on emotions like guilt, shame, fear, lack, all of that kind of stuff, it's in a frequency of 200 or below. And that's called deconstructive energy. And when those heavy emotions are like the driving force, the driving emotions in your life, that deconstructive energy will continuously bring in more damaging or deconstructive experiences. And it's like, why is this always happening to me? It's always me, that kind of victim mindset. And when you move into 200 and above in frequencies like gratitude, happiness, joy, love, you will start to attract in it's called constructive energy. And you'll start to attract in constructive energy opportunities, and things start to happen, little synchronicities, alignments. And when I just teach them so simply like that, and they start to see it, then it lessens the fear and starts to nearly almost give them a little bit of that excitement, desire, energy. Like it's just really easy, just simplifying everything and teaching people from the inside out. And then they have it. Once they have it quick.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's all back to the nervous system, becoming aware of the way we feel first.
Yeah, well, your thoughts control your emotions, but a lot of people from life are very emotional heavy. It's, I feel so bad, I feel this. And when we start to just balance that out, and I can bring them back up to the thoughts that's connected to it and catching the thoughts first, then they start to have that energetic shift in the body.
So let's do an exercise, and I'm going to, for the listeners, I'm going to be a client. I'm coming to you, Jen, and I have loads of bills. I have no money.
Yeah.
It just comes in and it goes out faster than it comes in, and I'm struggling to get from week to week, and I don't know what to do.
Okay. So the first thing I always ask is, how many times have you repeated that narrative? How many times have you heard yourself saying it?
It's been all my life. It's all I know.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
grew up.
So,
I grew up in that. That was what I experienced as a kid growing up, seeing it around home.
yeah. So, what I would first explain to the clients is we're not going to activate that story anymore. So, every time you activate an old story or relive an old something that happened to you, energetically, you place yourself back in the experience, back in the time it happened, and back in the same frequency of anyone else that was involved. I don't know if you heard of Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he talks about this all the time. So our cells hear everything that we say. And every time you activate an old story, because sometimes I'm a little bit out straight and I'd be like, do you sound like a broken record? Like, do you feel like a broken record? And they're like, yeah, Jen, I do. And I'm like, okay, good. We're in a good space. We're not going to activate that anymore. When you constantly activate the old stuff, you wake up every morning that you wake up in your past. So how are you supposed to live in the present and create a future when every morning you wake up, you're waking up energetically in the past? Does that make sense?
Yep.
So the minute that penny drops with them, that's when we start to have a big change. And then I would get them to do a script writing. So I'm huge on script writing. Have you heard of it?
I haven't heard of the term script writing, but I think it's like writing the present moment as if the life that you want has already happened.
Yeah, so I would get them to write a script writing that brings them into the present, everything that they want to feel and experience now. We create our dream life. And I'll get them to write that every morning and every day, especially at nighttime, because your subconscious works at nighttime. So I get them to do their gratitude and do the writing in the morning, and I get them to do the writing and a visualization at nighttime. So it's like nearly like what a child would do. You know, your crayons or colors. I get them to start drawing, just even if it's 10 minutes, just sketching out whatever it is, something good that they'd love to manifest in their life. And what we're doing is we're starting to calibrate the nervous system, but we're also starting to not activate the old stuff anymore. And we're starting to activate what it is that we really, really want.
So it's
So I
like
give
taking
them,
that old record off and putting a new one on
yeah,
and press and play.
yeah. Because if you're telling me you're like a broken record, okay. And especially when I start to work with somebody for the first time, I know that they will want to nearly emotionally purge all of that stuff out. They want to know that I understand what they've been through and where they're coming from. So I give that space at the start to just okay, just get it out, and then I'll say, okay, I heard that, I know that. So then in a few weeks' time, when they come back to me and they're like, but, and I'm like, don't activate it. I know, and it's bringing that mind, that awareness now to how long they've been saying it and where we want to go. So we start to feed what we want, and we just don't feed what we don't want. We don't do anything with it. We're not dismissing it. We're just not activating it anymore until you start to bring your vibration up to a place where if it comes that there might be a little bit of therapy needed, you might need to go back and work with around a bit of stuff. But now you're in a position to talk about it and not become disempowered by it.
So what are the things that you may need to talk about if you were to go to a therapist?
Well, everybody's different. We all have our stuff. We all have our stuff. We have a story. We have our traumas. We have our wounds. And as you start to do the work, and this is why I love personal development, because it's not all love and light and airy fairy. In order for you to step out now with a new self image, your old self image is going to be screaming. And all of the beliefs that you've held about yourself, you might have had a traumatic experience that may just need a little bit of work on now. And when you're in a position coming from an empowered position on a different frequency, you can actually go back and do the work a lot more, not easier, but a lot more stronger. You're not coming at it with a victim mindset anymore. So I have a girl who, she is a phenomenal advocate. She went through the prison system herself, and now she goes and speaks all around the country to the women. And one of the things, she came back to me, she goes, Jen, I'm struggling. You told me not to activate it, but I have to talk about it. And I said, yeah, you can talk about your story now, because you're speaking from a place of empowerment now. You're showing the girls what you've been through, what you've done, and where you are now. If you were going back in there and it was triggering you all the time, you're not ready yet. There's still just another little bit of work, but she's so ready to do it.
So it sounds like she has owned her story in a sense of without the story owning her.
Yeah, and she's not energetically connected to her past now. She's done the emotional healing work around it. So it doesn't bring her back energetic wise into that low vibration. She can speak from some of the worst atrocities that happened to her, and she still holds herself in a high vibration. Like, it's incredible to watch her. She's amazing.
And what if someone just wants to try and do something without doing the, I would say, like the deep work or the creating the awareness around the stories that they've had? What challenges do they typically encounter if they're not willing to, do that work?
Not everybody has a lot of deep work to do. Some people come into this world and they don't have karmic ties. They don't have experiences that they need to experience. Maybe they've done a lot in previous lives, and some people are just okay in this world, and they don't have a lot to do. And probably from them, they gain more awareness. They probably gain more confidence, more clarity, and they just go and do things. But I think everybody's different. Everybody has their different journey.
So when you talk a lot about vibration. So how does somebody know if they're in a low vibration or a high vibration?
Without the awareness, or without like working with somebody, it's hard to know, because you're so used to it. It's only when you start to study, and one of the things that Kim and Bob always talks about is study, like everything. Study will open your mind. You'll learn so much from it, but studying, the frequency of the words, the vibration of the words naturally raise your vibration. So if somebody doesn't understand about it, chances are, when they're ready to change, when they're ready, I always say, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And when you're ready, somebody always comes into your life to guide you to where you need to go next.
Yeah, and you have been that student. And no, I feel like we're always students, but we're obviously learning as we go. But you're still a student, but you've moved to a teacher role, and you're teaching 50, or you have a large community, and I assume that you're constantly building that community.
Yeah, I'm actually, this week, as people are trying to join in, but because I'm finishing up in May, it would be unfair to take people on now, because the group that I've been working with are just really, really formed. And to bring someone in now, they'd be a little bit lost. So I've been doing just little online workshops the last couple of months. I'm doing a little series of workshops where I give people an opportunity to experience what it is I'm doing. And I'll continue them through the summer. And then in September, when I'm ready to take on a new group, then they can decide then if they want to come in and work with me or not.
And what kind of feedback do you generally get from this community? Like, what's the general vibe of the group?
They love it. They absolutely love it. And one of the things that always comes back is, they always say, Jen, you teach it so relatable. You teach it so easily. Like, I can take very complex material and break it down and teach it so easily that they pick up on it really quick.
So it sounds like you make complicated things simple.
Simple.
And,
very simple.
And they're getting results.
Oh my God, yes. My group is like smashing it. unbelievable results. Like every Friday on our app, we use the school app. So every Friday, everybody goes in and does their wins. We have a little section called wins, and it just lights up every week. Like it's brilliant.
Mm. How much is it to be? I assume there's a fee just to join your community and support the group.
Yeah, so I have a small monthly fee on the group, and then I do my book clubs and book studies, and there's always stuff going on. I had a retreat in January. We were in Morocco. Usually, I have another retreat around May, but because I'm opening my business, I can't plan anything at the minute. But I'll
Mm.
have loads of stuff coming up once I'm up and running. You'll have to come down and visit.
I will for sure. With you now, like I hear what you're saying, but what does the next 2 or 3 years look like for Jen, or how do you foresee what you're gonna that life that you want to create?
Hmm. So I just started working with a girl who's going to help me move into the corporate work, which I'd love to do. Like I feel like I can add so much benefit to people in the corporate world, especially to the culture, and getting everybody kind of moving into that just a good energetic space, because there's nothing worse when you work on a team and it's not cohesive. And it only takes one or two kind of negative experiences to have a knock-on effect in a team. So I think I'm really, really good at bringing people together. I'm very good at getting people to believe in themselves in a short space of time. That's probably a gift that I have, that yeah, I'm very good at getting people to believe in themselves in a short space of time. People don't usually, when people spend time around me, by the end of the conversation, they're like, Jen, I'm gonna set this up and I'm gonna go and do this course. And like, yeah, I like that. I like kind of helping people to nearly crack open, like then my business with the sauna space, I would love to have a couple more of them around the country. I have a few
How
little
many do you
locations.
have?
This is my first one. I'm opening my first one at the
Congrats.
Shoreline Hotel. And I'll give you a cool little story before we finish. So I was teaching on the beach in the north side of Dublin, like 1,200 people every month turning up on the beach. It was amazing.
You were
But
teaching 1,200 people on the beach.
yeah, a big full moon. So I don't know if you see like the full moon experiences and stuff that are going on around. I kind of started them off.
No,
So
I
I
haven't.
like,
No, tell me. You
yeah, so
can share.
probably down here in the south, every month on all the beaches, people meet up, yoga, meditation. But I was the first one to do it. And I could have like 9,000 people on the beach, like all ages, like nannies with their little blankets, like the kids. But the police and the traffic engineers came and gave out to me because the beach had no parking and we literally would shut down the towns. So they moved me to another beach over the other side of Dublin, which had two big car parks and a hotel. And I reached out to the hotel and I said, Hi, my name is Jen. Look, we're going to be on the beach once a month. There's a big group, but everybody's lovely. If there's ever an issue, please come to me. Like, there won't be, but if there is, just reach out to me. Like, we'll fix it straight away. And the hotel owner was like, Come up and have a cup of tea with me. And his name is Andy. And by the end of the cup of tea, he had papers printed out. I was going to Africa in 3 months' time with him because he works for Action Ireland, and we've just built a really good friendship and business partners now. He's helping me set everything up. It's his hotel where I'm opening the business. I'm off to Africa now on Friday. Like there's 80 of us going to Africa on Friday now to work.
For is helping out with disadvantaged communities?
Yeah, we teach, we build, we teach. Like I get to teach the all the children. When I went the last time, nobody had ever heard of yoga or meditation or any type of healing work. And we were doing loads of work with the children. And I just asked, would it be okay if I took the teachers? Like, let me take the women of the groups. And I took them off and they never did yoga. We'd no yoga mats. We were on like the ground. And I did yoga with them. I went around all the different schools, the towns, and like the essential oils, the sprays, like the incense. I had it all with me. They never ever, like, imagine going through your whole life and never experiencing a healing moment. So when I get everybody to lie down at the end and we do a meditation and I just put my hands on them and, I ask, is this okay? And the aisles, like, oh my God, I never had a reaction like it before. They never experienced anything like that before. It's very special. Last year I was booked, so that was 2023. 2024 I was booked to go. Flights, everything was booked, but my best friend was terminally ill and I was taking care of her in the hospice and I just knew I can't leave her. I can't go. So I missed out last year. And now that they know and everybody they were all asking, where's the yoga? Where's Jen? Where's the girl? And now that they know I'm going back there, they're looking forward to it. So I'm excited to see what happens now on this trip.
And what has inspired you to do this with the communities in Africa?
Well, when the opportunity came up, I was like, wow, yeah, okay, let's see what happens. And we have this narrative in our head in the Western world, like it is a very extremely deprived country, dangerous country where I'm going. And you have this notion of like, oh my God, I feel so bad for them. I feel so bad. We kind of have that narrative. And then when you're there, it's like they're so grateful. They're so happy people. They've absolutely nothing. Like to get your one meal a day, to survive your day is like God's glory to them. So it's, and then when you see like the children are 10 and 11, the girls are 10. When you get to age 10, you have to cook. So there could be the little group of girls in the field cooking the lunch for 1,300 kids. And it's like these big massive pots and there's fire and smoke. And I'm like, where's the health and safety? Like, what are we? This is crazy. And they're laughing at me because they're so used to it. And the smoke is burning my eyes and it doesn't affect them. And then I'm like, these kids are so resilient. They're so empowered. And I was saying to them, like, there's people in Ireland who can't boil an egg. They burn toast, like they can't do anything and they're in their 20s. And they think that's really funny. Like we were just having banter. But, there's good and bad in it. And the Western world is so materialized. We miss the whole point of living. Like we miss it. We miss what it's all about. And over there, it's family. It's taking care of each other, and it's just having the happiness with the basics. Like it's when you come home, you suffer. You go into like a 3-4 week depression. That's difficult because it almost plays with your mind. When you come back here, you just all this stuff. We just have all of this stuff. It's unnecessary.
Just you talking about that though, it makes me think too. Sometimes we can get caught up like, oh, per me, or I have
Yeah.
nothing. But I mean, we kind of have a lot if you were to compare yourself, which we shouldn't do anyway. But if you
Yeah.
were to compare yourself to people in
Yeah.
disadvantaged countries or third world countries, we have quite a lot, and then it kind of gives us a
Too
lot.
much.
Yeah, true. And then it kind of, but it also it gives us a lot to be grateful for.
Mm.
And which brings me to gratitude, and like something that I learned is like how important gratitude is every
Yeah.
single day, like every single morning and every single night, even if I'm going through a really tough time or
Yeah.
there's something that I really wanted and I didn't get, I always find the gratitude in whatever it is, and I think that's so important, even if you didn't get or
Mm.
what you really wanted.
Yeah, and what Bob always says, harvest the good and forgive the rest.
Harvest the good and forgive the
Forgive
rest.
the rest. Yeah.
Yes,
Take the
yes.
lessons and move on.
Yeah, Bob was an interesting man,
Yeah.
you know. And is it Kim? She's from Belfast, isn't she?
Yes. Kim Calvert.
Yeah. I've heard her name come up a few times. I've seen some of her stuff, but she seems to be one of his proteges.
Yeah, I think she was his number one consultant in the world. And like the north is on fire with all the personal development stuff now. He's are really like it's really just blown up. The networking, it's fantastic. It's not that much down here yet, but hopefully, please God, it will be.
When you say it's like the networking of it's dynamite, isn't it? Is it called
Yeah, the
Dynamite?
Dynamite is the name of the group, but like a lot of the students now are branching out and they're creating these amazing networking experiences for other businesses and people to grow. There's a really good community happening up the north with everybody's on a good wavelength of support. There's not a lot of that. Not that there's not. It doesn't seem to be very competitive. It's very creative. Very like they're helping each other. Something really good is happening up there. There's a big shift.
Jen, it's been fun having the conversation with you. It's been interesting to hear about your journey, where you've come from, where you got to today. Obviously, I can tell that you're buzzing, about life and excited to
Yeah.
do what you're doing. So, kudos to you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me as well. I actually was recommended to follow you at a networking event down here in Dublin a few weeks ago.
Oh, well, that's nice
Yeah,
to hear.
nice. Yeah.
um, I don't hear much about that, but no, look, it's I'm grateful to connect with you. I just assumed that it must have been through, you follow somebody, you see people who follow the same person, so it's like, oh, I'll follow them and see.
See what happens. Here we
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
Thank
Jen,
you.
thanks very much.